Today on Rocket Punch. Today we're taking a look at my favorite game from Free League, the new and improved Evolved edition of the Alien role-playing game, and today is the starter set. Remember, in space, no one can hear you roll a crit failure.
Alright guys, today we're going to take a deeper look at the Alien role-playing game, Evolved edition by Free League. And this is the new starter set, which I can tell you is so much better than the original starter set. This thing has all the newer rules and all kinds of goodies inside that's going to make your game really awesome, and an expanded version of Hope's Last Day, which was originally in the original Alien core book as a little included adventure, so they expanded it in here, and I can tell you it's a really great adventure. Let's get this lid off. All right, let's see what we got. First up, we got this nice little alien in the Kickstarter. You got 2 bags of your dice. You got your base dice, which I just threw out, and your stress dice, which is really cool. It has a little face hugger on it. You got a little grommet there, and you have these nice cards, which you're going to use in the game. And we'll put those aside. Got the rule book, some character pamphlets, a nice rules reference, the adventure book, Pogs, another reference, and then some maps and handouts and stuff. So before we take a look at the rules, many people have asked, should I get the core book or the starter set? So for me, because I'm a big Alien fan, I got both, and I like all the stuff that comes with it. I mostly run the cinematic campaigns, cinematic adventures, which are kind of like a 3-act structure, kind of movie format type of game, not an extended campaign. So really, if you're just going to do like little cinematic movies where you have like a specific adventure that you want them to go on and then it ends, I would just get the starter set. It has everything you need. It has the starter characters, and every time they make a new cinematic adventure, it comes with preset characters. And in this game, presets are fine. You can still kind of tweak them a little bit. Really, I would only get the core if you're a big fan and you really want to go on campaigns, or you want to make your own adventure, or you want some of the more weapons and ships and things like that. But really, this has pretty much everything you need to run this adventure and all the other cinematic adventures. It's a nice condensed version of the rules. So let's take a look through these rules. So each player is going to have some attributes. You're going to have strength, agility, wits, and empathy, and that's it. And then you have a couple skills, so you're going to build a dice pool based on that. So let's take a look at one of the characters, Janice McWhirr. And you can see the new character sheet is also so much better. Also the book, it's all white, so it's a lot easier on the eyes. So anyway, you have Janice. So if she's going to do any ranged combat, you're going to use your agility. You have a 2 and a 2. You're going to roll 4 dice, roll them together. Any 6s count as success. All you need is 1 success in this game. Any additional successes kind of count for things like doing it faster, or sometimes the GM might say, well, you do it really well this time, so I'm going to waive any additional roll for the rest of the game, depending on how many successes you get, or maybe just the next one or some little bonus on there. So that's really nice. You only need 1 success in a dice pool mechanic. So that's really handy. Then each person is also going to have a talent. So let's take a look at McWhirr here again. So she has Field Commander. So you can use command to give orders in combat as a quick action instead of a full action. You'll also see now that they have a resolve number, which is their wits and empathy divided by 2 rounded up. So what that's going to allow you to do in the new game is, instead of just hitting stress, you're going to be able to take your stress and reduce it by a resolve. Then you have health, which when you get to 0 health in this game, you're broken. So you'll roll on an injury table, but you're not dead. So you're able to be revived or something like that. And the results of that critical table will basically tell you if you're dead or not. They also have some new things like conditions in here. It's also very rules light. So encumbrance, you're just going to have some slots. You're also going to have consumables, such as your air tanks, your ammo, your power for your devices, and things like that. So when you have a supply item, every time you use it, you're going to roll your stress die, whether you have them or not. You're going to use whatever die you use as stress die, and roll that many die as you have as supply, and any ones that come up reduce that supply. So if I have a 4 in supply, I roll 4 stress die. If any of them come up as a 1, I reduce down 1. So 4 goes to 3. Or if I roll 2 at a time, then I'm going to go from 4 to 2. We already talked about rolling dice. So you're just going to take your attribute and your skill, roll that. Any 6s, success. You'll have some modifiers that the GM can throw at you, like 1 die, 2 die, or -1 or 2 die, depending on the situation. Maybe you have cover or something like that. What's also nice in here and in the core book is they have these little tables now that kind of give you a little walkthrough of the rolls, which makes it really nice. So if you don't roll any successes, you just fail. You don't succeed at your test. If you don't succeed, you can try to push. You can push 1 time. You get to re-roll everything. But the caveat is, when you push, you're going to gain a stress die. The nice thing about that is, under stress, you're going to succeed, but you're also going to have a chance to fail. So even if I roll a 6 on my stress die, as long as it doesn't come up a 1, if I roll a 6 on the stress die, it counts as a success. The only time you don't want to roll, however, if you roll a 1 on your stress die, or the little face hugger guy, then you're going to have a stress response roll. So you're going to roll a d6 plus your stress level, and you're going to have these results, which is a little bit nicer. I like these results. It's a little bit more up to the player, how they're going to interpret that. And also what you have is, you have resolve. As I mentioned before, d6 plus stress level minus resolve. So that's going to, your resolve to get the job done, you're going to be more focused and able to put up with that stress. And if you do roll a stress, then you have jumpy, tunnel vision, aggravated, shakes, frantic, deflated, and mess up. So in this, each one of those kind of has a bit more of an effect on the character than the previous one. In here, you also have opposed rolls. So it's just going to be whoever rolls the most successes. And you have a bit more on the stealth mode. So stealth mode is when you're sneaking around. So in stealth mode, you're just going to have an opposed observation roll. So if one side wins, you can reveal yourself, ambush the enemy, hide in the zone, or back out the way you came. If it's a tie, you just draw initiative cards. And if you fail, well, you don't want to do that. It has a little bit more on crawl spaces in here. Talks a little bit more about hiding, the use of motion trackers, and things like that. When you do combat, you're going to roll. When you do combat, you're going to draw initiative cards. So in the game, you get 10 initiative cards, which is also why you might want to pick up the starter set, because it has all these good things. So you get these nice initiative cards, and you're going to deal one out to each player. So I guess I should shuffle, whatever, it doesn't matter. So if I get a 6, one of the nice things on here is I can actually trade my initiative. If I am the lower initiative, I can trade that with someone with the higher. So I go later in the round, which allows me to do more reaction things to the enemies. So I could dodge out of the way. If they miss an attack, I don't have to ruin my chance at taking a dodge move. I don't need to waste that. On a quick action, I can just turn the card. On a full action, I can turn it over. So I know that I've taken my turns throughout the round. So those are very helpful. If you don't have the cards and you don't want to use cards, especially over Discord, I tried it. It just ended up being a pain. We just rolled a 10-sided dice and just played Theater of the Mind. We didn't need the cards specifically, but they are nice when you have people around the table. Then you have your list of full actions and what skills you're going to use, and your quick actions, which are dodge and things like that, defending, those kinds of things. So you can take 2 quick actions or 1 full action. This just goes over more combat. It has a nice combat chart to make that very clear for everybody. More stuff on the ranged attack. Talks about dodging, cover, and friendly fire, which is nice, and ammunition. It also talks about full auto. So if you roll 1 on your stress die, when you're shooting, you have them automatically roll full auto, and then they might hit something, perhaps, but they're just going to waste their clip. For armor, what you're going to do, each armor has a amount of armor points. So you're going to roll however armor points it has. You're going to roll that many dice, and then however many successes you get on your armor roll, that's going to eliminate one success from the damage. Then you got your barriers. On here, you have the critical injury chart, which is a little small for my taste. So if you have the core book, it has one whole page of critical injuries that are really flavorful, made specifically for the Alien universe, I think. So once there is a person that gets to 0 HP, they're going to be broken. And after they're broken, that's the only time you can use first aid. Like if someone just takes health damage, you can't give them first aid. It's only after they're broken. Anything before that, just like any other game, they're kind of just scratched or nicked or bruised or whatever. So you can't use your medics until they're broken, and then you can try to heal them. Now, one of my favorite parts of the game, the panic roll. So whenever you witness another PC being broken, you notice a xenomorph for the first time, or it comes into range, you witness another PC suffer a panic attack, or some kind of truly horrific event kind of happens, you're going to have them roll their panic roll. So for their panic roll, they're going to add how much stress they have, subtract their resolve, and then check the results on the panic chart. And each of these are pretty interesting. So you have spooked, which just increases your stress. You get noisy, twitchy, lose an item, hesitant, freeze, seek cover, scream, flee, frenzy, or go completely catatonic. There's talk of other hazards like fatigue, falling, explosions, fire, and there's a little bit on synthetics, and they have their own kind of systems, and they have their own little critical system damage. So, and then you just have a couple of the weapons and gears typical of Alien. So in Alien, you're just gonna, whatever weapon you have, that's just gonna add a bonus to your die pool. So if you have 4 for ranged weapons, and then you have this service pistol, it gives you +2, so you roll 6 dice. All the damage is a static damage, so 2, 3, or 1. It talks about ammo, that kind of thing. Special, and then your gear, which is the same. It's going to give you like a little bonus or something on one of your die rolls. And that's the basic rules for this game. It's a quick, easy read, and it's a lot easier than going through the whole core book on your first kind of read-through of Alien. So I do like starter sets, and in this instance, I think it's a really great idea for people who just want to play those cinematic type adventures. Now let's look at the other cool stuff in here. I already kind of showed you the character sheets. So you got the profile, you got a little background on them, and you have a very simple sheet on the back with all the new things like the stress and panic responses. I do like that in the new version, they come with a huge amount. What is this? Oh, 5 little rules reference cards that you can hand out to your player, and it goes over the skill roll, what actions they can take, quick and full. Also about the panic roll, the stealth sequence, and the results from the stress response and panic response rolls. So that's very handy, even as a GM with lots of experience. The rest of the cards in here is just a pile of your stress response. So you get about 2 of each, which I think is a little, not quite enough maybe, but probably good enough. I don't know, but that's nice. They didn't have these in the original, I don't think. You have a couple statuses, so if you're wounded or fatigued, you have some of those. It just gives you the status on the back. Then you have your panic response. Panic response cards, so you got like catatonic, frenzy, flee, scream, everything like that. That's kind of nice. You could put that on your character sheet. That kind of gives you an explanation of what exactly is going on. You get these nice weapon cards, like the service pistols, the revolver, the bolt gun, which is very handy, electrostatic pistol, Ava pistol, pulse rifle, the new pulse rifle, scope rifles, heavy pulse, pump action, incinerator, harpoon gun, more blast rifles, and RPG launcher. Now everything else remaining in the box set is to play the adventure. So one of the first things you're going to have are these agenda cards, and that's really interesting about the cinematic adventures. You're going to have 3 acts, and in each act, each of the player characters that you have are going to have a specific agenda that they're trying to get done in the background. Because not only do you have these like secret agendas that no one else should kind of know about, there's also a buddy and a rival system, which is really fun to kind of have players kind of pitted up against each other. So some of the agendas might be you're secretly working for Weyland-Yutani, or maybe you're a secret spy, or even a secret synth. So that's going to go over this in the agenda cards. So that just helps with the role play. You're going to get these little pogs and this supply dial, which is handy. Unfortunately, there's only one, so it's really up to the GM. So you got the little pings on there. You're going to have a map that you can hand out to your players of Hadley's Hope, because in this adventure, you're going to be the people on Hadley's Hope. So you can hand this out because they live there. They should know where everything is. You get a nice map, like the GM-facing map. You got this little small 2-pager. And then you have the giant table battle map, which you can have for all your players. And also, if you have the miniatures, you can use these in the miniatures game. You also have the star system of everything. And then you have the awesome Hadley's Hope Adventure, Hope's Last Day. So this is right before Alien starts. So it's a perfect starting adventure, because I think everyone kind of knows kind of what that place kind of looks like in their mind. So it's really easy to kind of get into that setting. And I won't really go through the adventure, but there's 3 acts. You're going to go, you leave the station, you come back, and then hijinks ensue. And for anyone who watches the movie, you can probably guess where that's going to go. But you do have some chances. You have a chance to escape in the end, and you're going to be able to meet some of the other people who are living on Hadley's Hope. Now, what's fun about the xenomorphs in this game, you don't want to fight them, just like in the movie, especially if you're basically colonists or space truckers. You're going to be in a lot of hurt unless you have pulse rifles, so you're really going to want to evade them as much as possible. Because when a xenomorph attacks you, you get to roll on this nice attack matrix. For each one, you got the face hugger attacks, you got the chest bursters, and you have the drone attacks. So it's just a D6 little matrix there. They're also extremely powerful. They have high armor, unless it's fire, and then they have acid splash. So if you do hit them, there's a good chance that if you're close enough, you're going to get splashed by the acid. So they do get all that flavor of the alien universe in here with all these mechanics. So it is a lot of fun. It's highly recommended. So that was the Alien starter set. Now, if you get just the core book and you're not into getting the starter set, why would I recommend the starter set to you? Number one, you get all that cool stuff in there, like the cards that you can use at the table, those nice maps. You get this really great adventure that you could really run again and again. It's I've played it a couple times. I really enjoy it. It's quick, fast, and has a lot of stress. The other reason you might want to get it is because of the dice set, because there's, for some reason, buying 2 bags of dice is more expensive than just buying the starter set. I don't know how that works out, but it's capitalism at its greatest, so you should totally get the starter set just for the dice alone. I highly recommend it. And if you don't want to get the core book and you just want to get the starter set, it's more than enough. And you can just buy additional cinematic adventures to just go on more adventures. All you need are the core rules to just have interesting adventures in the alien universe. So I hope you give it a check out, especially if you're tired of fantasy. This game is really going to freshen you up. You're going to have a blast, and then you can always go back to fantasy if you want. But this is a great palate cleanser, and it's quick and easy to run. So I hope you get it. Support Free League. And until we meet again, rocket punch! Later.